Hi students, welcome back again to the class. So as a part of the relief features of India, we have discussed about the Himalayas, the Indo-Gangetic plains like that, and the next we are going to discuss about the peninsular plateau. Okay, so what does it mean by peninsular? We have to know that. Peninsular means a land that was surrounded by water from three sides. In three sides, if a land mass is covered by water, that will be called as peninsular. Here also see is three sides. This land is completely covered three sides with water. Bay of Bengal, Arabian Sea and Indian Ocean. So three sides water is covered. So in between this land will be called as, this is a plateau, this is called as peninsular plateau. So here this will be called as peninsular plateau. So this peninsular plateau was also divided into two parts. One is Malwa plateau, which is west side, and this one is eastern side is Chota Nagpur plateau. The central, this will be called as Central Highlands and this is called as Deccan Plateau. The peninsular plateau was divided into two types. One is Central Highlands and one is Deccan Plateau. The Central Highlands was again divided into two parts, two major plateaus. One is Malwa Plateau and another one is Chota Nagpur Plateau. In the western side, Malwa Plateau is there and in the eastern side, Chota Nagpur Plateau is there. If you observe that the Central Highland was very adjacent to the Indo-Gangetic plains. That means in the south of the Indo-Gangetic plains, Central Highland was located, and here Narmada river was there. Means from the Central Highlands, the south side is Narmada river flows. Here Aravalis will be there. So these are the boundaries of the Central Highlands. So north side Indo-Gangetic plains, south side Narmada river, like that. Here Aravalis will be there. This is about the Central lands. And we have discussed that, we have already discussed Malwa Plateau, Chota Nagpur Plateau. So this Chota Nagpur Plateau is very rich in minerals. So this Chota Nagpur Plateau almost located in Jharkhand, West Bengal, Bihar, like that, Odisha. This Chota Nagpur land is located in these states, and these states are, this plateau is very rich in minerals. So coming to the Deccan Plateau. So Deccan Plateau was south to the Central Highlands. Here means south to the Narmada river. We have already discussed that here Narmada river flows and Satpura ranges will be here. In the south side of the Deccan Plateau, a triangular land mass will be there. This triangular land mass is called as Deccan Plateau. So for this triangular land mass, south side, north side, which will be the Satpura ranges. Means for the Satpura ranges, south side Deccan Plateau will be there, and here Mahadev, Maikal and Kaimur ranges will be there in the eastern edge, and in the south side Nilagiris will be there, and in the eastern side and western side, Western Ghats will be there, and eastern side Eastern Ghats will be there. These are the major boundaries of the Deccan Plateau. In the north side Satpura ranges, south side Nilagiris and Eastern Ghats and Western Ghats. In the eastern edges Mahadev ranges, Kaimur ranges and Maikal ranges are located. In between these boundaries, the landmass, the triangular landmass is located, and that triangular landmass is called as Deccan Plateau. So now we will discuss about the Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats in detail. Okay, now we will discuss about the Western Ghats here. So here the west side of the Deccan Plateaus, the located is called as Western Ghats. These Western Ghats are parallel to the coast, west coast. This is the west coast and this is completely parallel, and this is the continuous rocks, and very few gateways are there in the Western Ghats that act as the gateways to the coastal plains. Very few passes are there which act as the gateways to the Western Ghats. And here in the Western Ghats, it's almost extends about 1600 kilometers. The Western Ghats extends for 1600 kilometers, and the height of the Western Ghats is around up to about 2000 meters height will be there, and the Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats will be joined at Gudaluru, near Gudaluru, and that will be called as Nilagiri. So, and Udakamandalam is also, which is also called as Ooty, is located in the Nilgiris, which is a famous hill station. All of us would like to go to Ooty in summer. So in near future and in the far away future also you can visit to Ooty and you can enjoy the summer season over there. So Ooty is also located in the Nilagiri, which joins Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats joins at a place. And Dodabetta is the most highest peak in the Nilagiris. The highest peak in the Nilagiris is Dodabetta, which is heights about 2637 meters, which is the highest peak in the Nilagiri hills. And also in the Western Ghats we have Palani hills, Anaimudi hills, and also Cardamom hills are also located in the Western Ghats. And in the highest peak in the Western Ghats and also in the South India is Anaimudi, which is the height is 2695 meters. So the highest peak is the Anaimudi hills, and the highest peak in Nilagiri hills is Dodabetta. The height is 2637 for the Dodabetta hills, and Anaimudi is 2695 meters. Okay, now this is about the Western Ghats. These are continuously processed. Very few gateways are there which works for the gateways to the coastal plains. This is about Western Ghats, and now we will discuss about the Eastern Ghats. Now we will discuss about the Eastern Ghats. So here Eastern Ghats, it extends from Mahanadi Valley to Nilagiris. Just now we have discussed about the Nilagiris. So this was the south side. So from the north Mahanadi Valley to here from the south Nilagiris, it extends. Eastern Ghats extends from Mahanadi Valley to Nilagiri hills. And these Eastern Ghats are not continuous. While the Western Ghats are very continuous, very few gateways will be there. But while comparing to the Eastern Ghats, these were not continuous. Because the rivers which flows from the west side to east side will erode these places and join the Bay of Bengal. So because of that reason, Eastern Ghats are not continuous. So just we have discussed that Eastern Ghats extends from Mahanadi Valley to Nilagiri hills, and the average height of these Nilagiri hills are 900 meters. Okay, so what is the average height means 900 meters. So the highest peak in the Eastern Ghats is Aromakonda. So the highest peak is Aromakonda. The height of the Aromakonda was 1680 meters, which is located at Chintapalli in Andhra Pradesh. So the highest peak in Eastern Ghats is Aromakonda, which height is 1680 meters, which is at Chintapalli in Andhra Pradesh. In Eastern Ghats, we can the major hilly tracts are Nallamalas, Velikondas, Palakondas, and also Sheshachalam are some major hilly tracts which were located in the Eastern Ghats. And these in the Eastern Ghats, in these areas, much black soil will be there. Why? Because why black soil is available means because of the volcanic activity. So in this region, very black soil will be black soil is located in the Eastern Ghats. Okay, my dear students, with this we have completed about the Peninsular Plateau, Western Ghats and also Eastern Ghats. Okay, go through this and please review once again. Thank you very much.